So Tim, um, up to about an hour ago, I was prepared to come on here, say not a lot of interesting happened today in the NBA. Was gonna have this whole speech that we're regressing to the mean. Everything went chalk today. The Heat beat the Hawks pretty handedly. The Grizzlies beat the Timberwolves pretty handedly. The Heat Hawks is now 2-0 Heat. The Grizzlies Timberwolves is now back tied 1-1. And after the first half of the Suns Pelicans game.
Oh, you want to do this now? You want to lead with it?
It's the whole thing. I have nothing to talk about with Grizzlies Timberwolves. I have nothing to talk about.
Thoughts, then.
I have nothing to talk about Miami and Atlanta.
I have a couple thoughts then.
Go ahead.
So the Miami Hawks series is an interesting one to me because the Hawks are the worst 3-point defensive team in the league. The Heat are the best. The Hawks shoot more threes than anybody. And going up against the best 3-point defensive team, obviously not a great matchup for them. I don't see that series being remotely interesting. I actually think the Heat have a chance to sweep them. Tough night for the next Michael Jordan argument. Anthony Edwards. There's a lot of orgasming after one playoff game.
Yeah.
Same with Ja Morant, by the way, earlier in the season. Turns out they're both still young kids, and they're going to make a lot of mistakes, and it's going to be a long road. Not saying that they won't be great eventually, but I don't think that Anthony Edwards is 22, 23-year-old LeBron James. I feel free to prove me wrong, Anthony Edwards. I don't frankly see it. The last thing is the Booker injury appears to be a non-contact hamstring injury. Yeah. I have talked to several people about this who have one person ask me, do you feel worse now than when Chris hurt his arm last year? My answer is by about 3 times. Because when Chris hurt his arm, it was in a series that I didn't expect to win, first of all. And first, it was also a contact injury. I knew that there was no breaks. And frankly, as much as Chris means, I've gone over it many times on this podcast. Devin Booker owns this entire city.
Yeah.
He is by far the number one Arizonian by a large margin. Seeing him not be able to go back in a game that the team then just completely collapses in, not great. My short thoughts before I do more doom and gloom. I fully expect to win this series. I think losing your best player in the middle of a game is a really hard thing to go through. I fully expect to still win this series. I think there's a chance it goes 6 now. I do.
So But
if he can't come back, this is up there. This is up there with a lot of events that I don't want to rehash at the moment.
So again, let's transport myself to halftime. Devin Booker was playing possibly the best basketball I've ever seen.
Next to that, for me, it was up there with the Game 5 Milwaukee, Game 6 Lakers.
Yeah,
it was up there with all that stuff.
But he was in just the first half in 25 minutes, 31 points, 12 for 19 from the field, 7 for 11 from 3.
High five to baby.
High five to baby.
Everybody enjoyed that.
Everybody enjoyed it. Then the announcers tell me he's not even on the bench. We haven't seen him. I'm thinking, okay, I mean, I've had to take a shit at some pretty important times in my life. So, hopefully that's all it is. Then we get the report that it is Devin Booker's hamstring. And then we get the further reporting that it's not the same hamstring. Because, by the way, if it was the same hamstring, I'd be like, oh, all right. He probably just needs to rest. We've got an off day tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be fine. The fact that it's the other hamstring and by all accounts, not a contact injury. It's not what you want. It's not what you want, because right now, this is the best shot that we have. And I'm not gonna go into every single thought that I have in my brain right now. Because
I'll say this.
I'm hoping that he just couldn't come back today. I'm hoping that the off day tomorrow is enough time to where he is back for game 3.
The important thing to note is that this is as healthy as Chris is going to be. We are both well aware of his injury history.
Yeah.
This whole season was built towards making sure he was healthy.
Yep.
In the postseason, and not really a second thought was given to Booker, who does have a slight injury history that you and I are aware of. The hamstring thing, again, it's much different than an arm. Chris could be 50% of who he was with one arm. We saw it in the playoffs last year. Booker, if he can't run, I don't need to explain why that's different. But like I said, Chris, this is as healthy as he's going to be. You saw him wear down towards the end of this game. He's 37. It's a little bit much to ask to have him play 40 plus minutes in a playoff game and actually carry the team scoring wise and creation wise for the entire time.
Yeah.
It's if you have a Suns Western Conference ticket, I would be very nervous right now.
I wouldn't
very
be.
Nervous.
I wouldn't be for now. We're gonna win this series. I don't really see a problem there. As of right now, all we know is that it's hamstring tightness.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go too crazy.
I'm just telling you, if it's a cramp, then great. Fucking turn down the AC, Sarver. I'll have a lot of venom about that. But I mean, frankly, I don't see us beating healthy Mavs or Utah if we're dealing with a compromised Chris. Hopefully we're not, but a compromised Chris and no Devin.
I think we're fine.
That's a tough series.
I think we're good. We saw how we would play without our guys. We saw that a lot this year.
Yeah, we lost almost every game where both of them were sitting.
Well, Chris Paul's playing. So
yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, he's 37. I don't know if you're aware of that.
You got to give me something, man. You got to give me something.
I'm telling you, if he's not coming back, or if he's 50%, I'd rip up my Western Conference ticket. I would.
I think we're.
That's good. That's the sport.
I think we're good.
That's what the sport is. You're not making the finals if you don't have one of your 2 best guys. It's not happening.
I think we're going to be fine because I think Devin Booker's coming back.
He'd have to come back and he'd have to be healthy. I mean, I think he's even more important than he was last year.
Yeah,
to the team. And it's one of those things where when you start playing doctor is when you get in trouble. But I'm telling you, we haven't seen a basketball team lose one of its 2 stars and make the finals. Hasn't happened. Not going to.
So I don't believe the medical definition of hamstring tightness is bad.
I don't believe he had imaging done either. So I don't think it was appropriate for Shams to call it tightness.
I don't believe he did either.
Because by the way Monty said it,
yeah,
I've seen that look.
yeah.
That wasn't someone who was confident in what he heard.
So do we do it now or do we hold it until we know something?
I think that this pod could sound very stupid in 5 minutes if the tweet comes out that he got imaging and he's fine.
Okay.
I've made the caveat the whole time. If he's healthy, nothing changes. I expect to win this series. If he's not healthy, you should be concerned.
If he's not healthy,
if he's out, I'm gonna need a couple of days off of work. Just as a heads up.
If Devin Booker's not coming back, you'll see a pod. You'll see a pod. I will,
and then you won't hear from us for like a month. I'll just be gone,
or we'll just be doing like what? We'll start doing a deep dive into like We Crashed or something. Like we'll just go completely the other direction.
We'll start like following cricket. This will become like an F1, cricket, NASCAR, soccer podcast. Like we're just going to abandon American sports entirely.
Just Lewis Hamilton doing great this season.
Yeah. Because I don't want to do where
ladies and gents,
I don't want to do the ranking. I don't want to do the ranking because I thought about
no, we're not doing the ranking. No, we're not doing the
ranking where this would be, but it's not worth it.
What I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the Tim and Tony podcast faithful, you got two pretty sad, nervous podcast
you should be nervous. You should be nervous.
You got two pretty nervous human beings that
sorry, I don't
in front of microphones right now.
I don't think I got this out, but Devin is somebody who would run through a wall to play in a playoff game, especially at home.
Yep.
And this isn't fucking Ben Simmons we're talking about here.
Yeah. Okay. This isn't Kawhi. This
is somebody Davis who would force the issue in an inappropriate way.
Yeah.
And so if he's agreeing to come out and put the jacket on
and sit back with his arms crossed, looking like he just got given the worst news he's ever been given, because he probably just did.
I think that says a lot. Again, the comparisons to Kobe are ad nauseum, but Kobe famously makes a free throw on a torn Achilles. Booker's that kind of guy. Yeah. He's in that DNA strand.
Yeah.
I have to believe that even if he could limp, I think he would have been out there. And so,
which you can take it a million different ways. I don't think he comes back and sits down on the bench if it's the worst of the worst news.
The other side to that,
the
other side to that is that he genuinely loves Chris and a lot of the guys on this team. And I think that there's a lot of, I need to be there.
So you're saying that there's nothing to take from no diagnosis? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm doing as much reading between the tea leaves as can be done while constantly refreshing Twitter.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. When the either is talking, the other is just constantly refreshing Twitter. It's
one of those things. Like how compromised is he going to be?
Yeah,
because there's layers to this, obviously.
Well, if it was his wrist again, I wouldn't be sitting here thinking, "Oh my God, having the Andrew Whitworth." I mean, what's this? I mean, what's the point of all this? We all die at some point, like, because that's how I feel right now. I feel right now.
Well, also, Mikal came up limping, so that's
Yeah.
That's the thing that's not going to get a lot of headlines, but
He
that's
did.
also a real thing. Mikel's
Yeah.
played through a broken finger before. He's the NBA Iron Man right now, playing every single game. As proud of him as I am, I do worry what that does to his
mobility.
Yeah. So I hope Devin's okay. I hope Mikel's okay. 2 injuries in the first round would be fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And if they're just dinged up going forward, we'll see. Which is what you can hope for. But if Devin comes out and he's fucking limping on the court, then I'm going to be the first one saying somebody's got to be the adult in the room. Because if he can't run, somebody's got to be the adult. And unfortunately, it comes down to Monty having to have the uncomfortable conversation of this isn't happening. Because we've seen it the other way, right? We've seen what happened to Durant.
Yeah.
Just because you physically can, if your leg is compromised to the point where you're going to be out for 16 months, if you twist it the wrong way, don't do it. So that's the other kind of side to this, that I will be the first one that says that's what he should not be out there if he's going to make it exponentially worse. We will see.
So without knowing anymore, I'm going to say this, and then I think we're good. There's been some moments. There's been some moments in Suns history.
No.
I'm not going all the way. I'm not going all the way.
No.
Just let me breathe. There's been some moments in Arizona sports. There's been some moments sports-wise in my life. None of which are this precarious. So I'm going to leave it at that because we don't know what's happening.
Nope.
Hopeful, cautiously hopeful, cautiously optimistic, cautiously whatever the hell. I use this phrase sarcastically a lot, and I mean it seriously this time. I am literally waiting with bated breath for any news. Devin,
Chuck's doing the not the eulogy, but the how much this really fucking sucks with how he had it going. So I think everybody's seeing what we're seeing at this moment, which is not good. So we'll address it when we have more information.
Yeah. And depending on the information is going to dictate the tone of this podcast moving forward in the playoffs. Your eyes just got big. What?
Sorry, I'm reading what the Inside the NBA guys are doing. And a lot of people are talking on Twitter about how depressed everyone is and how sad the whole set is.
Yep.
So this isn't just a Suns fans thing. I think everybody's adding 2 and 2 together here as to what may have happened. If the Inside the NBA guys are acting that way, I think it's fair to say that I'm not overreacting and saying I don't think it's a fucking strain. Like, I just don't. I don't buy that shit. They're acting like there's multiple tweets inside the NBA is hosting a funeral right now. They look like they're at a funeral. They look like they're about to break down. So I'll obviously watch these highlights for myself, but people's reactions are basically like they're acting like someone just, is going to be missing the rest of the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when we have more information. For now, I think I'm gonna play us out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ted Cruz, if you don't mind.
Scott Foster,
especially, you motherfucker. Scott Foster and Ted Cruz, please go fuck yourself. Elvis Monroe, please play us out.
One day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Gotta have her, gonna call her baby. One day, someday. She's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. I can see it in her eyes. Our future's so bright. Gonna wake up by your side. One day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Fiction girl. She's my one day, someday.